dry and sunny morning on Merseyside with hazy sunshine. The central Liverpool temperature is 52 degrees. It's 11 o'clock. This is Peter Gould with Radio City News. General Franco of Spain is said to have virtually no chance of surviving his latest heart attack. From Madrid, Joseph Grigg reports.
He has now suffered 2 massive heart attacks and 1 serious relapse in 4 days. Something like an intensive care unit has been set up in his El Pardo palace. But the best medical opinion here is that, even with breathing apparatus and heart stimulators, it would be impossible to keep a man his age alive more than a few more days. The government now seems unlikely to take any action before the weekend to have Franco declared incapable. But if the agony is still continuing by Monday, it will have to start the procedure in motion. This is Joseph Grigg in Madrid.
There's more fighting in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Mortar fire and heavy machine gun fire continued throughout the night. The shooting between left and right-wing gunmen is reported to be still going on today. And it's reported in Beirut that an Armenian terrorist organization has claimed responsibility for the killing of the Turkish ambassador in Paris. Last Wednesday, the group claimed responsibility for the murder of the Turkish ambassador in Vienna. The Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, is expected to make a statement today which could throw light on the resignation of London financier Jim Slater as chairman of Slater Walker Securities. Graham Adicott reports.
Mr. Slater's departure follows month-long investigations into allegations of share deal irregularities by Hall Power, a Far East trading company in which Slater Walker sold its 27% stake in 1974. One allegation is that shares held by Hall Power were sold to a Hong Kong company at below market price to the benefit of some joint directors of both companies. And according to one newspaper report today, a £14 million loan was made by Slater Walker's banking company to Hall Power. The whole rather confused situation is likely to be slightly cleared up today by a statement from the Prime Minister of Singapore. Graham Adicott, IRN.
An elderly woman has died after a fire at her flat in Liverpool city centre. Neighbours raised the alarm after they saw smoke coming from the flat in Bispham House, Fontenoy Street. Firemen pulled 78-year-old Anne Abbott from the blazing flat, but she was dead on arrival at the Royal Infirmary. Now the Irish kidnapping, and it's now 3 weeks since the Dutch businessman Dr. Herrimer was kidnapped. He's just spent his 4th night under siege at Monastereven. From the scene, John Snow.
To us waiting 200 yards away at the front of the siege house, there's been no sign or sound of Dr. Herrimer since yesterday morning when he appeared dramatically at the bedroom window, calling to us for about 30 seconds. He is now being fed regularly, 3 times in every 12 hours. Food is loaded into a basket at the bottom of the stairs, which lead to the siege bedroom. And the girl kidnapper heaves it on a rope to the landing outside. Each night that passes, new signs appear to show that security forces are prepared for this battle of wills to go on for a very long time. Last night, tents were erected for waiting reporters, and a bonfire fueled with peat was lit to drive out the effects of the bitter driving wind that's blown since this siege began 5 days ago. John Snow, IRN, Monastereven.
Meanwhile, in Northern Ireland, troops have found a large cache of explosives near the Irish border. During their search, they were fired upon by gunmen just over the border, but no one was hurt. At least 100 council tenants in Knowsley could face immediate eviction for rent arrears. The warning comes from Housing Committee Chairman Jim Lloyd, who says the council won't hesitate to get tough with tenants who refuse to pay their rent. More than half Knowsley's 39,000 tenants are behind with their rent to the tune of £1.5 million. 2 families in Kirby have already been evicted and possession orders granted against another 100. Finally, workmen are expected to move back onto the West Gladstone dock today despite the continued occupation by 25 boilermakers. The boilermakers have ignored a High Court writ ordering them to leave the site, which was granted to the contractors IPI Limited. The men say they'll resist any attempt to move them, and they're prepared for a peaceful confrontation. They say they have enough food for several days, and they've also cut loose all gangways to the ship at the centre of the dispute. IPI are converting the ship into a floating ammonia plant and dismissed the men last week over a row about work on a bulkhead. And that's all from the newsroom at 11:05. This has been Peter Gould with Radio City News.
It's a special city.